Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations, where we generally look at one or another lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the daily office lectionary. And today, Wednesday, I thought we'd take a look at the lesson that's assigned from Isaiah the prophet in the 11th chapter, one of the great prophecies about the coming of the Messiah. But I do want to mention that today is a major holy day in the life of the Church. December 8th is the Feast of the Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Our Roman Catholic brothers and sisters call it the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, and that's a whole theological thing. If you want to hear a little bit about the difference and why that doctrine is so important, tune in today for our Holy Communion service at 12:15. But needless to say, it is important for us to realize that in celebrating the conception of Our Lady when her mother and father came together under natural means and brought a child into the world through conception in Anna's womb, which is Mary's mother, we know that in fact God holds all human life sacred from its moment of conception until its natural end. So it's important for us to remember that. But there are some theological implications as well, and we'll talk about that at the Holy Communion service. So we're on the 11th chapter of the book of the prophet Isaiah, beginning at the first verse. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the Spirit and the fear of the Lord. And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. The righteous shall be the girdle of his loins. Righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them. And the cow and the bear shall feed with their young ones, shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. And the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand in the cockatrice's den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people, and it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. Okay, so obviously when we talk about the root of the stem of Jesse, remember who Jesse is. Jesse is the father of David, the great king. And what is the promise that God made to David? That one would sit on his throne forever. And so the idea in the mind of the people of the Jews through the prophecies of Isaiah and Jeremiah are that the Messiah, the Holy One, the Anointed One, the promise of God to send a Savior to Israel would come, of course, from David or from Jesse's stem. So that's where and that Jesus is a part of that branch from that particular family, and we know that through the genealogies. But his coming will be one that will bring justice into the world, and yet will turn such things upside down, so that, in fact, the ox will lay down with the lion, and all of these things that we hear about, which we don't normally talk about. And in fact, if we remember at the end of Mark's gospel, we are told that in fact one of the signs of those who are followers of Jesus is that they'll be able to hold on to snakes and not be bit and things like that. The ox is not laying down with the lion right now, and we aren't putting our hands holding onto asps or putting our hand in the cockatrice den, and I certainly don't recommend that as any sort of proof text for faith. But God is turning things upside down. He's restored the root of Jesse in Jesus Christ. And at the end of time, as we've looked forward to in the book of Revelation during the daily office, we know that all of creation will in fact be turned upside down. But the fulfillment of the promise of God to send that Savior happened not just in a human person, human alone, but a human person who is also God in the person of Jesus Christ. Today, 12:15, Holy Communion, and we do have healing afterwards. If you need to be anointed for healing, certainly please let me know, and we will bring out the oil and anoint you for healing. And then we will not have public recitation of evening prayer at 5 o'clock tonight, but I do encourage you to pray evening prayer on your own. And I pray that your Wednesday will be wonderful, and may God bless you.